Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions, the worlds of music, TV, news, pop culture, sports, lifestyle, everything really, depending on the guest, we talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. My guest is a musician. He has a song coming out February 12th featuring Jamie Fine and Brandyn Burnette called All Time. We're with Peter Takis, aka Takis. Peter, welcome to Popternative, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. You have such a bright energy. This is you've elevated my vibes.
Well, it's an exciting
10.
time. I mean, the single is coming out pretty soon. It's like Calm Before the Storm. We got to be excited about Takis and the new song.
There's certain nerves and excitement for this record, so I totally agree, man.
But it's
and
really like the unknown. Like we really don't know. Like you put it out there, right? And then it's for the world to kind of determine like what the reception's like. What's that kind of Calm Before the Storm like for you and your team?
I think when I first started, I used to really care about results. I would refresh all the back ends and I would ask how we're doing on this chart and this. At where I'm at right now, I don't know if I'm getting older. I don't know if I'm getting wiser, but I just want my fans to enjoy it. And I am just proud that I feel like I'm slowly getting better and I'm staying on path and I'm making records that I could be proud of, that I believe my fans are going to care about. So no nerves to results because we don't care, but nerves towards my fans appreciating the record because that's all that matters.
Absolutely. We'll get into the new single. We'll get into the new record. But, you know, everyone kind of has a story in terms of how you kind of land in the position of making music. Yours is kind of an interesting one. A lot of people know your story. Tell us, for my viewers that don't know, how Peter Takis got into music.
Yeah, I mean, that is a question for a 6-hour podcast.
Exactly. No, I know a little bit about it for sure.
So, yeah, I mean, just like any kid, you have a different path to what sparks it. And is that spark just going to be, buying CDs and sharing songs? Or is that spark going to be a 10-year journey? And for me, finding early hip hop, I was obsessed and I wanted to be a part of it in some way. And I tried many different ways on how I could be a part of it. I remember being an intern at a small hip hop radio station in my small hometown. And I remember putting out songs on SoundCloud and you would refresh them and it would say 2 plays. And then you'd refresh it and it would say 4 plays. And for many years, whatever I tried didn't seem like it was going to connect until those moments where, oh, wow, it is connecting. It is becoming real. People are starting to care. But hell of a journey. But, there's many ways to put it. It's been a long, long path so far.
Absolutely. I mean, this new song is going to drop and then it's going to be out there. Talk a little bit about the song. This is obviously a collaboration and we love collabs and we love how these artists kind of come together, especially during the pandemic. We're seeing like tons of, ideas flowing and collaborations and tag teams over the last couple of months. Tell us a little bit about the song and what we can expect, Pete.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about in-person sessions are just, the vibe is so honest. It is so authentic. I could feel how you feel. Even I complimented your energy. If we were in the same room, the energy for the podcast would be different versus Skype, but we are trying to make do. And I think a lot of other artists that are listening right now are in the same situation. They're trying to figure out how to have honest songwriting sessions, to have honest collaborations without being in the same room. And for this record, a lot of FaceTime, a lot of Skype, a lot of turning on my webcam and my red light behind me and trying to talk to people like Jamie Fine and Brandyn Burnette about what we wanted to talk about. And All Time is the 3rd song off my upcoming project, Welcome Home. But more interesting, it is like the first bright, hopeful song maybe I've ever put out as an artist. And so I guess I don't know what it says about last year. If 2020 was so painful that someone that usually only writes about sad things was saying, you know what, enough is enough. We're going to write a happy song. But that's where our energy's been. And that's kind of how we put it together. We just tried to say things are going to be all right. Let's make a hopeful record.
Every time I ask an artist this question, there's always kind of a different kind of journey and a different kind of answer to this. So I'm kind of curious to see what you say about this. I mean, when do you know that you have something special with a song that you're writing and producing? Is it when you're writing it? Is it when it's out and you're listening to it the first time? Like, when do you know, Pete?
See, I have a theory, and other artists are going to get mad at me about this theory because I literally believe if it doesn't make you feel something as a voice note, if it doesn't make you feel something as the ugliest, most unmixed, unprocessed production, you don't even, just some keys or a guitar loop. If you don't feel something when that song is at its ugliest, polishing it isn't going to make it work. And that's my experience. I know some artists that make 30 versions of songs and they eventually build them into great records.
Absolutely.
But for me, every record of mine, I hear literally a staticky iPhone voice note where you could barely hear what's going on, but I hear a melody or I hear a line and I say, guys, this makes me feel something. So it's a record we should go deeper on. So unpopular opinion, if you don't feel something very quickly, you should probably move on.
It's so like kind of the instant kind of hit right there.
It's
so
got
it's
not, I wouldn't say hit, but I would say an emotional impact where you're like, oh, okay, this is speaking to me emotionally. Then we can sonically maybe turn it into a hit, tighten it up and make a pop record.
I'm wondering, so if you're kind of vibing out and like writing something, does it kind of sometimes happen where you're like, nah, back to the drawing board and you just kind of scrap it? Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, it happens so much more than I would ever admit. I talk about it a lot. I'm a rare artist that admits that I make 9 terrible songs for every good song. And I think a lot of people do that. And one of the things, I'll quit on a song fast. If I feel like this isn't worth everyone's time emotionally, and the artists that I've been fortunate enough to work with in my career, these are busy people and they could be doing other things. So if within 20 minutes, it doesn't feel like it's worth everyone's time, I am not afraid to say, guys, let's go back to the drawing board. But when I was younger, I was way too afraid and I would just sit in the corner and be like, this song sucks. And then 8 hours later, I'd waste everyone's time. But where I'm at right now, 15 minutes in, guys, let's try something new. This isn't going to work.
Absolutely. Another question where there might be, like there's a lot of different answers when I ask artists. I mean, when people put Takis on, when they're listening to you on Spotify or wherever they listen to music. I mean, it's crazy. Isn't it crazy how you could say that now? It's like, where can I listen to you? Anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
That's literally what it is. You know what I mean? Now, but when they put your song on, besides the obvious, like, I hope you enjoy it and I hope you want to listen to it on repeat, what do you hope people get out of listening to Takis? Like, what are specifics?
So the first 2 records I put out, Wait For Me and From the Start, I wanted to tell painful stories and polish them in a pop format. And I love the artists that can do that effortlessly, where you could hear a perfectly polished pop dance record on the radio. And if you're not listening to lyrics, you're just going to love it. But if you're listening, you say, oh, wow, there's a really interesting and almost dark story in this pop song. So that was my mission early on. With this record and with the direction I'm trying to go in a hopeful and brighter direction, in 3 minutes, I want you to feel like everything is going to be 1% better. I'm not going to be that artist that's like, hey, when you listen to my song, all your problems are going to go away. That's an insane thing to say. But if you can turn off those problems, or if you can improve them by 1%, I have done my job at an incredibly high level. So I'm not going to solve your problems, but if I could give you guys a 1% improvement with all time to brighten your day, we're on mission.
Absolutely. Besides, the obvious trends like during the pandemic of like live streams and collaborations, in terms of kind of like general trends in terms of certain like instruments being used, certain effects, what have you kind of seen with trends in music in the last year or so?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't know.
The obvious ones, right? There's a lot of live streams and everything.
Of course.
But in terms of actually like the craft of making art and making music.
In terms of specifically for pop dance music, a lot of once gyms closed, once fitness playlist, cardio playlist, energy, spin class. Once those things were no longer an option, those songs didn't have a place to live. And a lot of those artists started kind of making more chill records, because there is nothing more uncomfortable than hearing some high energy club workout track when you're not allowed to leave your basement. So I think more honest, more stripped down, more acoustic, something raw. People want to feel something more laid back, because we do not have that Friday night we're all going to this festival energy. We have a introspective, chill, make me feel a little bit better. But man, don't tell me about, drinking at a club. We're not allowed at a club, so don't write those songs. So the stories have changed, and I think things have gotten more honest and more laid back.
Do you kind of see the experimentation of like certain instruments and certain like loops or certain samples being used? I'm kind of curious about that aspect of it too.
I don't want to give myself too much credit, but I try to incorporate a lot of guitar in my music. And for pop dance, that's kind of unique, but you also have to.
That's not like the traditional kind of approach.
But you still have to give credit to guys like Lost Frequencies and some of the incredible artists that are using chill house guitars. But for me, I'm just trying to carve out that lane. I'm saying, you know what, guys, I'm never going to be the high energy guy. When I play a festival, when I'm back on those stages, I'm not going to be like the super turned up high energy guy. You're going to hear a lot of acoustic moments. You're going to hear a lot of guitar. The tempos are going to be a lot more laid back than we're used to. I don't have songs that are 126, 128. A lot of my songs sit at 114 to 118 specifically. So that's kind of the lane that I feel is most honest to me. It's a mesh of a pop acoustic record with the house energy, the dance energy that I love. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. But I also have to give credit to all the incredible DJs that are also doing a version of that.
Oh, absolutely. So, Pete, we're having a good time here. The vibe is good. We're smiling a lot. It's a good vibe right now. So, something I kind of do in the show from time to time. It makes a lot of people smile. Sometimes it makes people cringe. But I think, I need to know, are you a fan of the dad jokes? Do you like the dad jokes, Pete?
I mean, I don't mind a good dad joke. It depends on the dad joke. That's like saying, do you like music?
So I happen to be like a dad joke connoisseur. Like I have them on rapid fire. I kind of just throw them out there. A lot of my viewers have heard of these before. Pete, did you hear about the kidnapping?
No.
It's okay. He woke up.
That's good.
You shouldn't trust stairs because they're always up to something.
Quality.
You know what I mean? There's a lot. There's that pizza joke, but it's too cheesy. There's a lot. There's a lot. But I got a new one now.
Are you recounting these, or are these somewhat originals? Do you have a chalkboard, or are these recountments?
I can't give away all my secrets. You give away all your secrets. Everyone's gonna put guitar now. That's music. Thank you for doing that. But I will unveil. I got some new material. So
let's do it.
Before we wrap up this interview, I'm about to give you a fresh dad joke. What did the drummer name her 3 daughters?
What?
Anna 1, Anna 2, Anna 1, 2, 3.
I'm into that one.
Pete, thank you so much for coming on Popternative, man. I really enjoyed chatting with you about the new single, the new record. It's awesome.
Dude, you are a ton of fun, and this was the most high energy interview I've done all day, and I love it.
Absolutely. So plug away. I mean, the song's going to be available tomorrow. There's a record coming out. Plug away, man. Where can people follow you on social media? Tell the viewers.
Yeah, if you guys go to any DSP, Spotify, Apple, whatever you guys use, search Takis all time. And if the song brightened your day, let me know. And if it didn't, I'll try again the next step.
That's a great way to put it, man. Seriously, man, congrats with what you've done so far, and all the best with this new single, man. I'm excited to see it's gonna be everywhere people listen to music, and they're gonna be able to spin it, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Thanks, dude.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You just want to listen. Popternative.com for other content in the pop culture, TV, sports, music, film world as well. Until next time, this is Takis and Peter Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.